Hello everyone, welcome to the video. My channel name is College Football Frenzy, and today I'm going to be talking about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish 2020 football schedule. The Irish last year went 10-2 during the regular season, with only 2 losses coming to Michigan and Georgia. One of those games against Georgia, they put up a good fight in. The one against Michigan, not so much, they got blown out. They won their bowl game against Iowa State, finishing overall in the season 11-2 in the Camping World Bowl, but it wasn't much of a challenge for the Irish. This upcoming season, looking at their schedule, there's definitely some tough games on it, as you can see right away. There's going to be some ranked matchups on there, some top 10 matchups even, but there are some games also that aren't too hard. There are some easy games, especially during the start of the season, and of course they're playing a lot of their rivals as usual. So overall, the Irish, I think they should be just as good, if not better, this upcoming season as they were this past season. They've got a lot of talent coming back. They also have some guys leaving, most notably tight end Cole Kmet, and they're also losing wide receiver Chase Claypool. But besides from that, they should be good. Ian Book's coming back at the quarterback position. That's a huge gain, and they should have a pretty good recruiting class. Alright, so I'm going to get into it right away, start with week 1, and make my way down to week 14. Actually, I should say week 0, because the first game of the season is week 0 against Navy in Dublin, Ireland. We all imagine that college game day will be going here. This is where the spotlight will be on in week 0. It's a big game. I'm excited for it. We'll see how it goes. Navy was a pretty good team last season. They went 11-2. That being said, I have to address that Notre Dame did smoke Navy last season. They beat them by like 30 points at home against Navy. So they did destroy Navy last season. I think it could be closer on a neutral site. Both teams might be rusty. We saw in the week 0 game when Miami and Florida played last season, both teams were rusty, so that could be the case here, where, maybe there's some jet lag, maybe just some problems getting overseas, so there could be some rust. I do take Notre Dame to win this game, but it could be a challenge. Again, Navy was a very good football team last year. Week 1, you get a bye. Fantastic, great to have a bye early on, prepare for the rest of your games. 3, Arkansas, that's an easy one. They'll win that game easily. Or that is in week 2, I should say week 2. Week 3, Western Michigan, another easy game here. They'll win that game very easily. Week 4, Wake Forest, neutral site game. Wake Forest was okay last season. They had a great start, finished kind of shaky. They lost their bowl game against Michigan State. They got destroyed by Clemson. They lost to Syracuse towards the end of the season as well. So it was a great start, not a great finish. Neutral site game here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I don't think Wake Forest is going to be as good as they were last season. It looked like they didn't play very well against the big opponents. Just they fed on the cupcake games. That's why I think they got out to an early great start. So this upcoming season, I don't expect them to be very good. Jamie Newman is leaving as well, which will hurt them. I have the Irish winning this one. 6, Wisconsin, big matchup here. Probably a top 15 matchup. I think Wisconsin might have one loss against Michigan coming in this game. It's a neutral site game in Green Bay. Tough. It's going to be an interesting site to play at. I imagine it'll mostly be Wisconsin fans, considering it's in Wisconsin, but it is still a neutral site game. I think game day's going here. It should be fun. Definitely a great atmosphere. I think Wisconsin's going to be good next season. Especially on the defensive side of the ball. But like I said in all my other videos, that when I'm talking about Wisconsin, they're losing Jonathan Taylor, which hurts them quite a lot. He was the biggest key to why that offense had success last year. They still have Jack Cohen at the quarterback position, but I think it's going to hurt them a lot without Jonathan Taylor. I have Notre Dame winning in a very close one. 7, Stanford, big rival here. Stanford had a tough schedule last season. That might have contributed to why they didn't do very well overall record-wise. So they might be better this upcoming season record-wise, but Notre Dame will handle their business here. They'll win this game. At Pitt, another rival. Pickett gave him some trouble, but I expect Notre Dame to win this game. 9, bye week, perfect. Only a couple weeks before their huge game. Duke, easy one, no trouble there. They'll beat Duke. 11, Clemson. All right, here's the huge game. It's a home game, which definitely helps Notre Dame. If it was an away game, I would say 100% Clemson. But this is going to be a home game for Notre Dame, so I definitely think it could be close. Hopefully game day goes here. They might not, because LSU versus Alabama is going to be in the same week. But this will be a great game. It's a 7:30 game, I think, on NBC. It should be exciting. Clemson destroyed Notre Dame the last time they played a couple of years ago in the playoff. But South Bend, that's going to be much different than a neutral site game. I think Clemson wins this game. I think Clemson hands them their first loss here. I think Clemson wins by around 14 points. But it definitely could be close to start out the game. I just feel like Clemson, especially with the coaching battle, will have the upper hand there. Even talent-wise, especially on the defense and the run game, they have the upper hand. At Georgia Tech's one of the worst teams in the ACC. They should win that game. Louisville, they should beat Louisville, but Louisville could be a ranked team next season. You don't know. They definitely improved since 2 years ago where they went 2-10. Last season they went 8-5, a big improvement, and they finished second in their division right behind Clemson. So I definitely expect them to take the next step and maybe be a ranked team, but I still have Notre Dame. At USC is in the preseason FBI top 15. That's pretty high. So ESPN, I guess, is expecting big things out of USC. They have a lot of returning talent coming back, a lot of returning production. That's why they're ranked so high. They're young. What they'll have from their young production is atrocious, though. They have no really great young players coming in. Their recruiting class is absolutely terrible, USC, and that stinks for them because they're Southern California. They should have a great recruiting class. So a lot of the older talent, I think, is the reason why they're supposed to be so good. It's at USC, it could be a tough place to play, although I don't expect USC to fill up the Coliseum. I feel like they usually don't. So we'll see how this one goes. I am taking Notre Dame to win in a close one, but USC could definitely put up a good challenge. They have in the last couple of years. All right, so overall, I have the Irish, I think, finishing 11-1. Now, I think that's a pretty reasonable schedule prediction. I know a lot of people probably think that's a little bit too optimistic. Maybe 9-3-10 or 10-2 is more reasonable. But looking at their schedule, if you take it game by game, I really think they've got an easy start. The middle of the season, they should win those games. And besides from Clemson at the end of the season, those are manageable games. So I have the Irish going 11-1. The only games they lost last season were the games they were supposed to lose, like at Michigan, at Georgia. So I definitely think Notre Dame, they'll maybe have some close calls throughout the season, but I think they can be a top 10 team. I think they go 11-1, and I personally think they're going to get into a New Year's Six bowl game this upcoming season. They only made the Camping World Bowl this past season. I definitely think they'll make a New Year's Six bowl this upcoming season. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks for joining in. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and check out all my other videos.